Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time, in a grand house filled with laughter and sunlight, lived a wealthy merchant and his 3 beautiful daughters. Once upon a time, in a grand house filled with laughter and sunlight, lived a wealthy merchant and his 3 beautiful daughters. While all were lovely, the youngest, known to everyone as Beauty, possessed a gentle heart and a kindness that made her the most beautiful of all. But fortunes can change in the blink of an eye. One day, a series of terrible mishaps befell the merchant, and his vast wealth vanished, leaving the family in poverty. They were forced to trade their luxurious life for a small, humble cottage in the countryside. Then, a glimmer of hope arrived in the form of a letter. One of the merchant's lost cargo ships had been found, safe and sound in a distant harbor. The family was overjoyed. As the merchant prepared for his journey, his 2 older daughters, dreaming of their old life, clamored for gifts. Beauty, who desired nothing more than her family's happiness, simply shook her head. But her father insisted. "If you must bring me something, a single rose would please me more than anything else." Due to legal complications and greedy creditors, the ship and all its cargo was seized. Hughes, left with nothing, and the long journey had been for nothing. A fierce storm blew in, and he lost his way in a dark, dense forest. Just as he was about to give up all hope, he saw a faint light through the trees. He followed it and came upon a magnificent enchanted palace, its gates mysteriously open. To his amazement, he found a long table laden with a feast of the most delicious food imaginable. Starving and exhausted from his journey, he couldn't resist. Chalet, he ate until he was full, and then, feeling his eyelids grow heavy, he found a comfortable bed in a nearby room and fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, the merchant woke up refreshed. The palace was still empty and silent. As he went to the stable to fetch his horse, he passed through a stunning garden, and there he saw a bush covered in the most perfect, vibrant red roses he had ever seen. Remembering Beauty's simple wish, he reached out and plucked a single stem. In an instant, a terrifying roar echoed through the garden. A monstrous creature, more frightening than anything he could have imagined, appeared before him. "You ungrateful human. I gave you food, shelter, and a warm bed, and this is how you repay me. By stealing my most precious possessions, my roses." The beast loomed over the trembling merchant. "For this, you shall die." "Forgive me, my lord. I am so very sorry. I meant no harm. I only picked the rose for my youngest daughter." The beast's expression softened, but only slightly. "Java daughter." He growled. A dark idea formed in his mind. "Bring her to me. Let her come here in your place, and I will spare your life. I give you 3 months. Promise me that either you or she will return. Now go." Without another word, the beast disappeared back into the palace. Shaking with fear, the merchant mounted his horse and galloped home. When he arrived home, he gathered his daughters and, through sobs, told them the horrifying story of the beast and his dreadful demand. As his older daughters wept and blamed Beauty for her foolish request, Beauty herself stood tall. "Do not weep, father," she said, her voice steady. "I will go. This trouble came upon us because of my wish for a rose, so it is only right that I face the consequences." Her father protested vehemently. "No, I will not allow it. I will return and face my fate." But Beauty's mind was made up. Her love for her father was too strong to let him sacrifice himself. The merchant, his heart heavy as lead, returned to the enchanted palace with Beauty by his side. The beast appeared, his gaze fixed on the young woman. "Did you come here of your own free will?" he asked, his voice a low rumble. "Yes," Beauty replied bravely, looking at the creature without flinching. The merchant had to leave his beloved daughter alone with the beast, That night, alone in her new, grand bedroom, Beauty had a strange and comforting dream. A beautiful, kind-faced woman appeared to her and said, "Do not be afraid, dear Beauty. Your good heart and brave choice will not go unrewarded." When she woke, she found that the palace was hers to explore. Though the beast's appearance was terrifying, she soon discovered a different side to him. He was her constant companion, treating her not as a prisoner, but as a guest of honor. They would walk through the enchanted gardens, read in the vast library, and share meals in the great hall. Every evening he would ask her the same question, "Beauty, will you marry me?" And every evening she would politely reply, "No, beast." Yet, with each passing day, she looked past his monstrous exterior and saw the gentleness, intelligence. She lived this way for 3 months, wanting for nothing. The palace provided everything she could ever desire. But one day, while looking into a magical mirror that could show her anything she wished, she saw a heartbreaking image. Her father was lying in bed, seriously ill, overcome with grief from losing her. She ran to the beast, tears in her eyes, and begged him to let her go home to see her father. The beast looked at her with sadness in his eyes. "Bah, I will die of sorrow if you do not return within 1 week." He handed her a simple gold ring. "When you wish to come back, simply place this ring on a table before you sleep, and you will awaken here." Beauty was instantly transported home, and he quickly began to recover. But her 2 sisters, seeing her dressed in fine clothes and hearing of her comfortable life, were consumed by jealousy. Hoping the beast would grow angry, or, better yet, die of sorrow, leaving Beauty as miserable as they were. They feigned such sadness at the thought of her leaving again that Beauty, with her kind heart, agreed to stay just a few more days. But as the days passed, Beauty found herself thinking more and more of the palace, and to her surprise, she missed the beast. She realized with a jolt that she had grown to love him. She dreamed she was back in the palace garden, and she saw the beast lying on the ground near his beloved rose bushes. He was dying of a broken heart because she had broken her promise. She immediately grabbed the magic ring and placed it on the table beside her bed. "I wish to go back," she cried, before falling into a deep, enchanted sleep. When she opened her eyes, she was back in her room in the palace. Without a moment's hesitation, she ran down to the garden. She rushed to his side and cradled his great head in her lap. "Oh, beast, please don't die." "There you are," he whispered, his voice barely audible. I thought you had forgotten your promise." "Well, I didn't realize. Until now, how much I love you. Please live, and I will be your wife." Fifth. As soon as these words left her lips, a brilliant light enveloped the beast. The air shimmered, and the ground trembled. When the light faded, the monstrous creature was gone. He explained that a wicked fairy had placed a curse on him, a curse that could only be broken if someone fell in love with him and agreed to marry him despite his appearance. "You were the one who did not judge me by my looks, but saw the heart within." Beauty and the prince were married, and the kind fairy from her dream returned to bless their union. They ruled his kingdom with kindness and wisdom, and, as all the best stories end, they lived happily ever after.